11:30 time, 10:17. Ben Wilson here. Monday night, 7 degrees downtown. Statistics suggest we may be making it over to the hump when it comes to COVID-19 and recovering from it, in BC at least. We are seeing about a 62% jump in the amount of people who are improving. And these are people who have obviously had the virus. That's a 5 percentage point jump in just the last couple of days. Health Minister Adrian Dix also with this update for you on the number of people in the hospital right now.
Our occupancy rate in our acute care hospitals is 58.8%. Our occupancy rate in our critical care units is 53.3%.
BC has 63 new cases since Saturday, as well as a new death. A man in his 40s. This is the first time anyone in BC under the age of 60 has passed away from COVID-19. Despite efforts from the White House to prevent the export of those face masks made by 3M, they'll still be sent to Canada. A deal has been reached between the manufacturing giant and the White House, which will see the 3M imports of face masks from China to the U.S. 3M says while they will produce almost 167 million of these masks for the U.S., they'll still provide them to Canada and Latin America too. This after Trump had ordered the company to stop exporting masks here. That prompted some words from a very angry Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trump, by the way, also sounding optimistic as a new week of COVID-19 mitigation efforts begins.
At Monday's White House Coronavirus Task Force briefing, President Donald Trump said, although the crisis isn't over, he's optimistic.
Things are going really well.
But the president also said it could be a rough week.
The next week and a half is going to be a big surge.
The president talked by phone Monday with former Vice President Joe Biden.
Really nice. I think it was very much so. I appreciate his calling.
For most people, the new coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms. But for some, especially older adults and people with existing health problems, it can cause more severe illness, including pneumonia and death. Mike Gracia, Washington.
A motion from a Surrey City Councillor hoping to push back property tax payments till the end of the year has been shot down by Mayor Doug McCallum. Councillor Linda Annis says with so many people laid off, some people need extra time to recover financially.
Residents and businesses who are undergoing significant financial stress at the moment to be able to pay their property taxes, instead of paying them in July, that they would be able to defer them to December the 2nd.
Her motion asks for the taxes to be deferred interest-free. Mayor McCallum says it cannot be done because Surrey's under a provincial state of emergency right now, which means the province would have to approve it. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones, 5-day forecast time.
The updates just don't stop.
You need a team you can trust to give you the facts.
Vancouver's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is News 1130.
When you're down, you build character.
But when you rise, that's when your character really shines.
This is an emotional time. Taking care of yourself and your family is your #1 priority.
We understand that everything is uneasy and changing by the hour. Here at Rogers Radio, we want you to know that we have your back.
We promise to continue to bring you up-to-the-minute information, but more importantly, we promise to be beside you as our community works through this.
If you're a local business who's struggling, we're here to help.
Our entire team is working remotely to keep our community safe while continuing to service you.
Together, we will get through this, and we can help ensure your business is poised to shine once things turn around again.
History has shown that in every economic interruption, businesses that continue to advertise weather the challenge better. And when the crisis is over, sales go up faster and higher.
Contact us at citynews1130.com.
It's time for you to really shine.
10:21, let's check some traffic with William Cook.
Yeah, Ben, looking pretty good out there this evening. Major routes, highways, all pretty clear at this time. I got no problems to report. We'll mention in Surrey, though, South Surrey, 160th Street. They've blocked that off recently between 32nd and 26th Avenues. They're widening 160th, going to have that shut down 24/7 until that project is concluded. If you do spot any troubles, though, we're still here listening. You can always reach out with a hands-free phone call to star 1130. Shoot us a tweet from the passenger seat at News 1130 Traffic.
And from the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center, let's check the 5-day forecast with meteorologist Michael Coos.
The weather will continue to warm. Yesterday was very nice. Tomorrow going to be warmer still, up to 12 to 15 degrees after a cool morning low under a clear sky of 1 degree. We'll see a little bit more cloud through the afternoon on Tuesday, but right back to the sun on Wednesday with a low of 2 and a high near the water up to 13 degrees. Should hit 17 inland. Much the same on Thursday. Friday Friday, I'm calling for a partly sunny sky with a high near 14. In the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Michael Coos.
Right now, 8 in the valley. We have 7 at the airport. Downtown, 7 degrees, 2.
News 1130. Listen on the go with the Radio Player Canada app.
Download now on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather.
No matter where you are.
With the Radio Player Canada app and News 1130.
Former captain of an American aircraft carrier where more than 100 soldiers have COVID-19 is being blasted by high-ranking Navy official.
Captain Brett Crozier was fired last week as the USS Theodore Roosevelt skipper after writing a letter pleading for the crew to be quickly evacuated as the virus spread. In a sometimes profane speech to the carrier sailors, Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Maudley said Crozier showed extremely poor judgment in distributing the letter. He says the captain should have known the letter would leak to the media, and if he didn't, he's too naive or too stupid to be the commanding officer of a ship like this. Democrats say Crozier was punished for trying to save his sailors' lives. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Drawing on its TB and HIV history, South Africa is gearing up for COVID-19 testing. The country right now able to conduct 5,000 tests a day, with plans to get up to 30,000 by the end of April.
South Africa, one of the world's most unequal countries with a large population vulnerable to the new coronavirus, may have an advantage in the outbreak, honed during years battling HIV and tuberculosis, the know-how and infrastructure to conduct mass testing. Health experts stress that the best way to slow the spread of the virus is through extensive testing, the quick quarantine of people who are positive, and tracking who those people came into contact with. For most people, the new coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms, but for some, it can cause severe illness and death. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
1024 in other news, one person's dead after a fire at a 3-story building on Foster Street in White Rock. Several people had to be evacuated around 7:30 this morning when the fire broke out, but they've since, most of them, have been able to go back. The name and the age of the person who died have not been released. Charges are coming for a 26-year-old man from Princeton after he rammed a police cruiser with his SUV this morning in North Van. He first sped away after seeing the cop car, but circled back and then hit the vehicle near Fell Avenue around 8:40. He would eventually give himself up after a short chase. An officer did suffer injuries, but should be okay. He was treated at the hospital and has since been released. CityNews1130.com/audio, the place to go for the audio features from members of the team. Ask the Chief with Tim James, 1130 Bookshelf with John Ackerman. This Week in Science with Curtis Doring. Wired Wednesday, the one I do every week with our tech expert, John Beeler. You can listen to Old Minutes with Bill Good. You can even listen to the Music Minute with William Cook. So lots from which to choose at the audio site at citynews1130.com. We'll bring you the business news in 60 seconds and more news for you coming up in about 5 minutes from now. Stay with us.
The sun's out. I hope it lasts.
Me too. But you know what won't? G&F Financial Group's 12-month redeemable bright term deposit.
Our advisor recommended that. It's time to invest in future you and me.
It's a guaranteed and secure rate for 12 months, plus it's redeemable. And with G&F, we get a chance to win $2,500.
Let's do it.
Invest in future you with G&F Financial's 12-month bright term and get a chance to win $2,500. Offer ends soon. Details at gffg.com. G&F Financial Group. Life beyond banking.
Buying a new car shouldn't be intimidating. It should be exciting, rewarding. We can help with that. At Dilawri, we bring all the best brands together under one family so we can make you one promise. We're on your side, and it's our goal to help you find exactly what you need, whatever the brand, new or used. We started as a family business, and that's who we are today, with all our employees and customers. Our family has just gotten a little bigger. Dilawri, together is better.
It's 10:26. And now the business news.
Today in Wall Street rallied to kick off a shortened trading week, and analysts note that investors are upbeat as the latest data seems to show that the number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. is slowing down, but they warn it's too early to determine if this is a lasting trend. As well, here at home, consumer confidence fell to a historic 12-year low last week as the virus has shut down much of the economy. The Bloomberg Nanos Canadian Confidence Index fell sharply for a third week, dropping to 42.7. But the TSX was higher by 5%, a gain of 654 points to 13,592. Stateside, Wall Street was higher by at least 7%. The Dow soaring 1,627 points to 22,679. NASDAQ gained 540 points to 7,913, while the S&P added 175 points to 2,663. Fiat Chrysler announced that it is extending some of its North American factory closures through to next month. The automaker says it does plan to progressively restart plants in both Canada and the U.S. beginning May 4th, while factories in Mexico will be addressed separately. The stock at the close was up by 8% to $7.25. Oil finished lower for the first time in 3 days as traders hope OPEC and its allies will actually hold a virtual meeting on Thursday. Oil sunk 8%, closing at $26.08 a barrel. The Canadian dollar was higher by 48 of a cent, closing at 70.87 cents U.S. And gold finished at a more than 7-year high, up by 2.9%, closing at $1,693. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
It's location, location, location in real estate. But with your vasectomy surgery, it's experience, experience, experience. And that's what I, Dr. Neil Pollack, and Dr. Jack Chang have. We've performed over 35,000 vasectomies at Pollack Clinics. That's right, 35,000 no scalpel, no needle vasectomies, done safely and virtually painlessly in under 6 minutes. Your sexual freedom starts with a visit to the experts at PollackClinics.com.
They put on their uniforms and leave their families when you need help. But where do our emergency services, military personnel, and veterans go when they or their families need help? Honor House, a place of healing and a home away from home for our brave Canadian men and women in uniform. Find out more at honorhouse.ca. Our door is always open. Honor House, a message from the broadcasters of British Columbia.
What's not your emergency?
I'd like to not file a report.
Okay, ma'am. What exactly did not happen?
My car was not stolen.
Good to not hear.
The windows were not broken either. Not a scratch.
Okay.
I will not have to take the bus to work today.
I am not filing a report.
Thanks for nothing.
Not a problem.
Help make a world without crime. Crime Stoppers. You remain anonymous. Criminals don't.
And keep in touch with us on Twitter. We're at News 1130. I'm at Ben Wilson, 1130. Tweet me and I'll tweet you back. If you spot troubles out there, make sure you give us a holler. Hands-free holler, of course. We're here at Star 1130 for you, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. News 1130 time, 10:30.
Your station for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is News 1130.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ben Wilson. It's Monday, April the 6th. Here's what's making news right now.
There's hope the COVID-19 curve is flattening in BC as almost 62% of confirmed cases recover. But the latest person to die was a man in his 40s who was not in a care home.
A deal has been reached.
The 3M saga ends very happily.
President Trump gives the okay for the American company to export personal protective equipment to Canada.
Those hoping for a tax break in Surrey are out of luck as a motion to push back property tax payments has been shot down by the mayor.
He was one of the best baseball players in the world through the 60s and 70s. Hall of Famer Al Kaline has passed away at the age of 85. Sports at 45.
North American markets rally on hopes the coronavirus outbreak is stabilizing, and we have an update in the 3M N95 face mask saga. Business at 56.
News 11:30 time, 10:31. Let's swing by the traffic center again. Here's William Cook.
It's a smooth sailing kind of night out there on the roads. Your highways are totally clear right now. Not seeing any traffic anywhere here. But if you do spot any problems, you can always get in touch again with that hands-free phone call to Star 1130. Shoot us a tweet from the passenger seat at News 1130 Traffic. I will mention a road closure that's new. It's in South Surrey. It's on 160th Street. They've shut down 160th between 32nd and 26th Avenues as they work on widening that stretch of 160th. Closed 24/7 until they finish with that work. Take a look at the News 1130 Weather Center. A few clouds out there for us tonight. A bit windy near the water and a bit cold overnight. Our low down to +2. Sun and cloud back for us tomorrow. And our high up to 11. 14 degrees inland. Sunshine Wednesday up to 13 on the water and 17 inland.
Right now, 7s across the board at the airport in the valley and in downtown Vancouver, 7 degrees. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the ones. Traffic alerts to get you there on time. News 1130 time, 10:32. To our top story, with dozens more people fully recovered, BC is closer to flattening the COVID-19 curve. Nearly 62% of all confirmed cases are now feeling better. News 1130's Marcella Bernardo reports one more death has been recorded over the weekend. It's the first victim we've had under the age of 60.
Even though 63 new cases have brought the total count up to 1,266, Dr. Bonnie Henry says 783 are no longer testing positive for the virus.
Part of it was the system that we had in place to detect cases in our communities here, and part of it was luck, and part of it was timing, I believe.
The provincial health officer confirms the man who died over the weekend was in his 40s, and he died at home.
We are, of course, concerned about the effects that this virus can have even on young people. We know that there's been some young people in other parts of the country, including someone in their 20s who's unfortunately died in Alberta.
There are now 210 cases at 21 long-term care homes, but Henry says outbreaks at 3 others have been completely eliminated. I'm Marcella Bernardo.
The Park Board will be holding a news conference in the morning where it'll reveal additional physical distancing measures to be taken in Stanley Park. Addressing the current situation, the health minister has a warning that there need to be protections for those who cannot or won't self-isolate. Adrian Dick says people need to make sure they keep apart from one another.
If there are gaps in the plan that some can't fill in on their own, they need support to close those gaps. And where they can't or don't or won't plan or follow a plan, there must be enforcement without exceptions.
Dix did not make reference to the downtown east side, where advocates there have been calling for more to be done to ensure people there have the immediate ability to self-separate. The American maker of those highly sought-after N95 safety masks says it's reached a deal to continue shipping them to Canada. News 1130's Michelle Mackey explains. It comes after Trump threatened to cut us off last week.
3M says it has a plan with the Trump administration that enables the export of U.S.-produced respirators to Canada and Latin America. And in his daily coronavirus task force briefing, President Trump confirmed the two parties reached a very amicable agreement.
We're going to be getting, over the next couple of months, 166.5 million masks for our frontline healthcare workers.
Trump says those masks will be for domestic use, but by June, 3M expects to be producing N95 respirators at a 40% increase from current levels. I'm Michelle Mackey.
And while we're talking about masks, days after 2 inmates at federal jail in Mission tested positive for COVID-19, we're learning most jails in the country will soon have face masks for staff and inmates. The union says surgical masks will be provided at 49 facilities starting tomorrow. Corrections officers and inmates will be supplied the masks, as social distancing is not usually an option. The union's calling it a good first step, but adds jails and corrections facilities should be locked down immediately to help stop the spread. They're also sending a letter to Canada's Minister of Public Safety asking for testing kits. Meantime, 95 inmates have gotten a temporary release from jails in BC recently because of the ongoing threat from the virus. That's coming from the Ministry of Public Safety. It says this happened between the 1st of March and the 2nd of this month. It includes 31 that were let out of the pre-trial center in Surrey. Most of the inmates serving intermittent sentences and, if need be, can be brought back. Last week, the province confirmed an inmate of the correctional center near Oliver had tested positive for the virus. Good forecast, let me tell you that for free. Nice and mainly sunny for the most part. We're really going to heat things up midweek. Details with Michael Coos after the 10:51 traffic. 10:35 now on a Monday night, 7 degrees downtown. Layoffs and a decrease in sales at businesses in Surrey had some people hoping for some relief when it comes to property taxes. However, News 1130's Tarnjeet Parmar tells us a motion to push payments until the end of the year squashed by the mayor tonight.
Councillor Linda Annis was asking the city to defer property and business taxes until the end of the year to try to help those who have been laid off due to COVID-19. But Mayor Doug McCallum quickly shot down the idea, saying such changes to taxes can't be made while under a provincial state of emergency.
The provincial government, the reason why we need their approval is on the tax bill. It's not just the city of Surrey, it's also the school board, it's also TransLink, it's also Metro Vancouver.
However, McCallum says the city is looking at a tax deferral program for up to 3 months and have already asked the province for support. I'm Tarnjeet Parmar.
A plea for continued social distancing despite the better recovery figures in BC from COVID-19. This is coming from obviously the medical community, but also a young man from Metro Vancouver who is at a high risk from this virus.
Since I've had the transplant, we've been exercising a lot of caution.
35-year-old Nick Kanan, who says his life today being very affected by this pandemic. 5 years ago, Kanan had to undergo a double lung transplant due to cystic fibrosis and thus remains highly susceptible to infections because of the drugs he has to continue taking to prevent organ rejection. Beyond being worried about the current social distancing trends, he also has a warning for those who feel they could just shake the bug.
Having been hooked up to a vent, high flow oxygen, these are horrible, horrible things to experience.
Kanan, a tech professional, remains in isolation at home with his wife and 2-year-old daughter. I'm Paul James.
It's one thing to lose your income during a pandemic like this. There's the departure of medical benefits, too. News 1130's Marcus Fitzgerald is hearing from the Union for Hospitality Workers who hope to have those benefits after the end of the month.
About 95% of those who work in hotels or airports or the food service industry have been laid off. That according to Unite Here Local 40. Michelle Travis speaks for the union. They're calling on the employers and the provincial government to lean on those employers to make sure at the very least that these people don't lose their benefits too.
They need to ensure that workers maintain the coverage. We want them to deliver a strong message to employers that that's an obligation that they need to continue.
Travis says that while a few employers have made sure to keep the medical benefits flowing, not enough have followed suit. I'm Marcus Fitzgerald.
There's optimism, albeit cautious optimism, in some provinces about the pandemic. 5 provinces reporting deaths. Several are talking about flattening curves.
One is Alberta with death 24, a woman in her 80s, but the Premier expects a peak in several weeks. Saskatchewan is another. Premier Scott Moe says the number of people recovering is larger than the number of new cases, 4 in the last day.
It's far too early for us to say whether this is any sort of trend in Saskatchewan, but it is good news.
Quebec also points out a decrease in hospitalizations, though there are 27 more deaths. Ontario has added 13 to its death count. There's been a second death in Newfoundland, Labrador. Manitoba has had 1 more case amidst concerns people are hanging out in parks and not keeping a safe distance. Nova Scotia has 31 more cases, New Brunswick 2. I'm Jim Benny.
10:38, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been moved to the ICU of a London hospital after his coronavirus symptoms got worse. His office says Johnson's conscious, does not need a ventilator right now. Johnson was admitted to the hospital last night, 10 days after being diagnosed with COVID-19. The Foreign Secretary of the UK now acting on his behalf. People around the province were out doing their nightly cheers and happy cries for the healthcare workers at 7 o'clock sharp tonight. And it looks like the movement is getting popular in the Big Apple, too.
The nightly ovation here in New York for doctors and nurses fighting coronavirus. New York hospitals are under what Governor Andrew Cuomo called tremendous stress, even though there are signs that the curve is flattening. There are still more than 4,700 deaths from coronavirus now in this state. Doctors and nurses are saving every life they can. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Hot spots are next.
I'm Charmaine De Silva, news director here at News 1130. As our lives continue to change in response to the coronavirus pandemic, we know there is so much uncertainty. Like many of you, much of our team at News 1130 is adjusting to working from home. But that doesn't change our dedication to bringing you the latest information to not only keep your family safe, but help you figure out how you're going to get through this. We want you to know we're here for you. Thank you for trusting us.
Hi, I'm Tyler Toffoli.
Hi, I'm Antoine Roussel. And I'm Adam Gaudette.
Together, we're excited to be the brand ambassadors for Basant Motors.
If you're on a quest for a quality vehicle, go see Basant Motors, BC's top trusted pre-owned car dealer.
Whenever you're ready to score a mid-size sedan, SUV, or luxury vehicle, check out over 400 cars on our site.
Visit Basant Motors and tell them Toffoli, Roussel, and Gaudette sent you.
BASANTmotors.com.
Looking for new ways to serve your turkey? Well, you can stuff it, sauce it, or barbecue it. And that's just for starters. Turkey's extremely versatile and tasty, high in protein and low in fat and cholesterol. Check out new recipes at bcturkey.com.
Let's check out the hot spot right now. Still dealing with the roadwork in South Surrey. You're blocked on 160th between 26th and 32nd. Traffic and weather together on the 1s and 32nd.
Hi, I'm Pip Dhaliwal from Freedom Capital. I think getting a loan or a mortgage should be within everyone's reach. So at Freedom Capital, our focus is delivering fast and easy access to money, even to the most challenging of cases. Take advantage of ultra-quick closings, no limit financing, no credit qualifications, and most importantly, no headaches like the big banks. At Freedom Capital, we take pride in being the leading providers of alternative mortgages in Canada. So if your situation falls outside of the conventional lending box, we have you covered. Apply now at freedomcapital.com.
10:41. Hey, that's traffic time. Let's talk to William Cook.
Guess what? I have no problems to report for you. It looks pretty quiet on all of your major routes tonight. You can always get in touch, though, if you do have anything, if you do spot any areas that aren't so quiet tonight. Star 1130, hands-free is the number to call if you do have any troubles to report. I'll mention in South Surrey as well, this work just started up recently on 160th, widening 160th between 32nd and 26th Avenues, and they do have that one shut down 24/7 until that project is completed. Taking a look at the News 1130 Weather Center, a few clouds out there tonight, a bit of wind as well, closer to the water overnight. Our low at +2. Sun and cloud, we're warming up tomorrow, high of 11. And on the water up to 14 inland, and getting even hotter as the week progresses. Sunshine Wednesday up to 13 on the water and up to 17 inland.
7 in the valley, 7 in the airport downtown. Oh, 6 degrees, almost had 777s there. We'll bring you traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the ones. Traffic alerts to get you there on time. Cue the music. Song from Schitt's Creek, that's the theme. Here's some non-COVID news for you now. The co-creator of the smash hit show says it's a bittersweet time, the show wrapping up for good tomorrow. Daniel Levy says he's happy it's going out on his own terms, but sad the fans can't get together to watch the final episode together. What began as a hidden gem has become a global phenomenon. Countless kudos, including 4 Emmy nominations last year, for the story of the formerly wealthy Rose family adjusting to a humble life in a small town the dad once bought as a joke. We'll bring you sports in a minute.
There's only one global research university with campuses in Canada, the U.S., and the U.K. That's Northeastern University. Northeastern takes learning and discovery beyond the confines of classroom and campus through an experience-powered network of employer partners and campuses that connects you to employers and innovators on every continent. See how far Northeastern's unique network can take you. To find out more, visit northeastern.edu/experience.
Your home is more than just a place to live. It's your window of opportunity. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, your home can provide valuable equity that will give you the freedom to complete those renovations, support your business, or simply get your debt in line. An easy call will open the doors to all the good things you thought were beyond your reach as a homeowner. So pick up the phone and call Capital Direct at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL today.
CapitalDirect.ca.
This is All News Radio, News 1130.
We have 6 degrees in downtown Vancouver. Hello, I'm Ben Wilson. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's making news right now. Could the curve finally be flattening? Some positive news from the doctor. BC's top doctor, nearly 62% of people who've tested positive have fully recovered. 3M will continue to ship protective face masks to Canada. There have been worries it would stop after an order from Trump to do so. And Boris Johnson no longer running the UK government. He's now in the ICU at a hospital in London because he's not getting any better after contracting COVID-19. .45, and that's sports time from Sportsnet 650, your home of the Canucks. Adam Forsyth.
He spent his entire career in a Tigers uniform and eventually ended up in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Al Kaline has died at the age of 85. In his 22 seasons in the Bigs, he made the All-Star team 18 times. Kaline was equally skilled on both sides of the ball. As an outfielder, he collected 10 Gold Glove awards, while at the plate, he collected over 3,000 hits. He also upped the Tabbies, won a World Series title in 1968. The cause of death was not released. Locally, with the WHL season officially canceled, the league is handing out some hardware. For a second straight year, Vancouver Giants star Bowen Byram's an all-star, being named to the league's second team. The Colorado Avalanche prospect averaging over a point a game patrolling the blue line this season, thanks to a ridiculous stretch of play in February where he had 24 points in 12 games. On the gridiron, the NFL draft will not have its usual flair this year when it is held later this month. Instead of the bright lights of Las Vegas, it will now be held online because of the coronavirus. Team personnel will make their picks from the safety of their homes. Commissioner Roger Goodell says in addition to the draft being moved online, all team facilities must remain closed indefinitely. The golfing world also feeling the effects of the outbreak. This weekend is always circled on the calendar for golf fans. But instead of the Masters taking place, the winner of the Green Jacket will be determined during the week of November 9th. 2 other majors are on the move. The U.S. Open heading to September instead of its usual spot in June, while the PGA Championship is now on the schedule for August. The British Open has been canceled. And on the hardwood of the NBA, Commissioner Adam Silver is holding out hope his league can return, saying he will not decide to cancel the season until at least May 1st. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or online anytime at sportsnet.ca/650.
At Tim Hortons, we're proud to serve all of our communities across Canada. So we've made changes to serve you better in times like these. That's why our drive-thrus are ready to take your order with minimal contact. Tim Hortons, proudly serving our communities.
If there's one thing we can guarantee about the market today, it is unpredictable. You need your product to look great, but you also have to manage volatile demand. All Labels has the answer. How? Their brilliant printing and laser cutting. It means you can speed your product to market with small or large runs without sweating over costs. Any label size, any label shape at exceptional quality. Check them out at ALLLabels.com. Experienced, customer service oriented, and locally owned. All Labels, creativity on a roll. ALLLabels.com.
1047 at News 1130. Ben Wilson here, 6 degrees downtown. The COVID recovery rate in BC is on the rise, even though we've announced 63 new cases today and 1 new death. Figures show the recovery rate is up to 62%. That's 5 percentage points up from the last update a couple of days ago. We cannot get complacent, though, because of that, so says the Health Minister, Adrian Dix.
There will be cases where lack of information or lack of resources or both make it difficult to self-isolate.
There are currently 140 people in the hospital in BC with the virus. N95 respirators will still be shipped to Canada during this pandemic, despite efforts from the White House to stop that. Manufacturing giant 3M reaching a deal with the White House to import millions of the masks from China to America in the coming days. 3M says while they're working to produce some 166 million masks in America, they will continue shipping them to Canada and Latin America, too. Last week, Trump ordered 3M to stop exporting masks to Canada, drawing harsh criticism from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Property taxes in Surrey are due in a couple of months, but the pandemic has left others worried about how they're going to make the payments. A motion put forward by City Councillor Linda Annis asking the city to defer the property and business taxes till the end of the year, adding the city needs to help those who are struggling due to layoffs.
A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of businesses have had to lay off people. I've heard that businesses' revenue is down as low as 70%. We need to work with them. We're all in this together.
But it was shot down by the mayor, Doug McCallum, who says only the province has the power to approve that, simply because the city is under a provincial state of emergency right now during this pandemic.
You're listening to News 1130, Vancouver's breaking news, traffic and weather station.
A Mountie has been hurt in what should have been a routine traffic stop this morning. Mounties say a man deliberately crashed into a cruiser in North Van just before 9 a.m. The officer at the scene initially saw the man driving erratically near Fell Avenue before the SUV turned around and smashed into the cruiser. That caused some minor back injuries to the Mountie inside. The suspect took off. There was a bit of a chase, and he eventually gave himself up. The officer has, by the way, been released from the hospital. 26-year-old man from Princeton, BC, is facing a whole whack of charges tonight. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll bring you traffic and weather together on the ones. We'll be checking that 5-day forecast for you. It's a pretty good 5-day.
News 1130 is #1 for breaking news in Vancouver and is your source for the latest on the coronavirus. Stay up to date by tuning in 3, 4, or 5 times a day. News 1130 on our app, your smart speaker, or at news1130.com.
Looking for a more peaceful place to work from home? At Premier Suites, they believe that being away from home should never mean sacrificing the comforts and safety of home. As Canada's largest provider of fully furnished temporary residences with fully equipped kitchens and in-suite laundry, Premier Suites provides beautiful homes from coast to coast with 24/7 guest support and professional cleaning. Choose from over 1,300 spectacular condos and townhomes across Canada. Find out more at premiersuites.com. Premier Suites. Stay safe.
Harvard Roofing has been in business for nearly 50 years, and in that time we've carried out every type of roofing project you could imagine. Harvard is #1 in the roofing industry because it all boils down to one thing, and that's excellence from beginning to end, resulting in another happy customer. And let's not forget, we carry out emergency repairs and maintenance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Check us out at harvardroofing.ca. Harvard Roofing and Sheet Metal really is a degree above the rest.
10:51 traffic time. Mr. William Cook.
Beautiful Monday evening. Not a bad night to get in the car for a nice isolated drive through the hills and think about life, ponder a little bit. You won't be running into much traffic while you're out there this evening. But if you do run into much traffic or if you have any problems to report, you can always reach out with a hands-free phone call to star 1130. Shoot us a tweet from the passenger seat at News 1130 Traffic.
Let's check the forecast now. The Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center is where we find News 1130 meteorologist Michael Coos with the 5-day forecast.
It's going to be a warm week. Temperatures at or above seasonal all the way through Friday, it looks like. Tomorrow, just a shade warmer than it was on Monday. Still cold in the morning, down to 1 degree under a clear sky. I'm calling for a partly sunny afternoon with highs of 12 to 15 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday will be the warmest of the week. Lots of sunshine through that middle section with highs up to 17 degrees, 13 along the shore. Friday brings a partly sunny sky with a high near 14. In the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Michael Coos.
7 in the valley, 7 at the airport, and in downtown Vancouver, 6 degrees.
News 1130 Inside Scoop.
Join a citywide movement to salute workers on the front line. Every night at 7 p.m., people from Vancouver to the Valley are stepping outside to clap and cheer in support of BC healthcare workers, first responders, and anyone who must work during this pandemic. Show your support by getting louder and prouder each night.
Get all the details at news1130.com.
10:52, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson still in the intensive care unit at a hospital near London battling COVID-19. So with Johnson out, who's running the UK?
Dominic Raab, who is the Foreign Secretary, he has taken over. We don't have an official Vice Prime Minister in this country, but he is First Secretary, is what they call it here, and he has taken over. He led the official coronavirus response meeting as soon as the Prime Minister went into hospital, and he will continue to do that as long as Boris Johnson is in the ICU.
ABC's James Longman reporting. More help is coming for those who are struggling to find food in Vancouver during this. Vancouver Community College, VCC, has opened its downtown kitchens as a meal prep and distribution center for those needing food. Much of the focus will be on the downtown east side, of course, where a lot of regular food distribution has stopped. VCC says it prepares 2,000 meals 3 times a week, and each hamper will include 4 meals, some snacks, napkins, drinks, and cutlery. As we continue on tonight, a new short attention span streaming service has launched today.
The highly anticipated short-form streaming service Quibi is here.
Hi, remember me?
Shows from big names including Jennifer Lopez, Chrissy Teigen.
This is Chrissy's Horn.
Chance the Rapper hosting a reboot of MTV's Punk'd.
Blow it.
The shows are 10 minutes or less, and you can only watch on a phone or tablet. For now, it's free for 90 days, $5 a month after, or $8 for no ads. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
While full medical research still underway on how effective and safe a particular drug is for treating COVID-19 patients, some doctors are reporting promising results.
Here in L.A., Dr. Anthony Cardillo says he is seeing significant success in prescribing hydroxychloroquine in combination with zinc to treat patients who are extremely sick with COVID-19.
Every patient I've prescribed it to has been very, very ill, and within 8 to 12 hours, they were basically symptom-free.
Hydroxychloroquine has long been used to treat malaria and conditions like lupus. Dr. Cardillo saying right now it's important that only the most ill get it as to not run out of the drug. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A former captain of an American aircraft carrier where more than 100 sailors have COVID-19 is being blasted by a high-ranking Navy official.
Captain Brett Crozier was fired last week as the USS Theodore Roosevelt skipper after writing a letter pleading for the crew to be quickly evacuated as the virus spread. In a sometimes profane speech to the carrier's sailors, Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Maudley said Crozier showed extremely poor judgment in distributing the letter. He says the captain should have known the letter would leak to the media, and if he didn't, he's too naive or too stupid to be the commanding officer of a ship like this. Democrats say Crozier was punished for trying to save his sailors' lives. Sagar Magani, Washington.
News 11:30 time, 10:55. We'll bring you the business news in 60 seconds, and more news in about 5 minutes from now.
Are you paying a higher rate on your mortgage? If your mortgage is up for renewal, you're aspiring to purchase a new property, or just looking to borrow private funding for home renovations, credit card consolidations, or to pay off bills, call the professionals at Jerry Brar Mortgages. They will lend you up to the maximum value of your home with quick approvals and in most cases, no appraisal. Call Jerry today at 604-762-8889 or visit jerrybrarmortgages.ca to get your mortgage approved. It's that easy.
So she says, Naomi, I can't believe you're even thinking about doing that. I mean, hey, are you even listening?
Oh, sorry. I was in my happy place.
And where might that be?
Actually, it was Craftsman Collision.
Family owned and operated, one collision repair company has been making more Western Canadians happy than any other since 1977.
I know it sounds nuts, but when I got there and saw how my truck looked, I felt happy.
Weirdo.
That I heard.
You were supposed to.
Craftsman Collision. Air miles and bigger smiles.
It's 10:56. Now the business news.
Wall Street rallied higher by at least 7%, and it comes as investors remain optimistic that the coronavirus outbreak is stabilizing, with the latest data showing the number of new cases in the U.S. appears to be slowing down. However, analysts caution that it's still too early to tell if this is a lasting trend. But we did see the Dow soar 1,627 points. The Nasdaq gained 540 points, while the S&P added 175 points. As for the TSX, it's technically back in bull market territory, which is a rise of 20%. It's up around 21%. Today it gained 5%, a gain of 654 points to 13,592. We have 3M and Boeing in focus after the closing bell. 3M rose more than 1% in the extended session, as U.S. President Donald Trump claimed that his administration has reached a deal with the manufacturing giant to produce around 55.5 million N95 face masks a month for U.S. healthcare workers and others fighting the coronavirus. And President Trump claimed that the agreement means the, quote, 3M saga ends very happily. As for Boeing, it fell more than 1% after hours, as the plane maker announced that it will suspend all 787 operations at its factory in South Carolina. Oil finished lower for the first time in 3 days, as traders hope OPEC and its allies will actually hold a virtual meeting on Thursday. Oil sunk 8%, closing at $26.08 a barrel. The Canadian dollar bill was higher by 48/100ths of a cent, closing at 70.87 cents U.S. And gold finished at a more than 7-year high, up by 2.9%, closing at $1,693, higher for a third day in a row. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
With the economic impact of COVID-19 deepening, food banks across Canada are concerned about not having enough food to meet the demand, with many reporting only a 2-week supply remaining. That's why Rogers is partnering with Food Banks Canada in this critical time of need by donating 1 million meals for our fellow Canadians. Let's do what we can. It's time to step up to the plate and donate at foodbankscanada.ca. Together, we can make more possible.
Duick is here for you, ready to help keep your vehicle safe. Their no-contact service experience is available 24 hours a day. And if you're worried about the reliability of your current vehicle, their showrooms are open, and home delivery is available. To see the latest deals, like the custom Silverado for only $74 weekly, visit DuickGM.com. From everyone at Duick, please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other.
The following is an announcement regarding a change in the reporting of criminal activity. From now on, gang violence, illegal guns, robbery, assault, purse snatching, meth kitchen, arson, peeping Tom, drive-by shooting, pedophile, knife-wielding maniac, identity theft, contraband smuggling, extortion, fraud, weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, and human trafficking stoppers will now be known as Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers. You remain anonymous. Criminals don't.
Keep in touch with us on Twitter. Are you awake? We're at News 1130 traffic. No, we're not. What are we doing? Can I do that again?
We are at News 1130 traffic as well.
The main account is at News 1130. I'm at Ben Wilson 1130. And tweet me, I'll tweet you back. It's 11 o'clock.
News 1130 is CKWX Vancouver. The latest news is as close as your smartphone. Listen live on the News 1130 app.
Vancouver's breaking news, traffic, and weather station.
This is News 1130.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us this Monday night. It's April 6th. I'm Bailey Nicholson.
I'm Ben Wilson. Downtown, 6 degrees. Here's what's making news right now.